Welcome to the Hot Mess Prodcast. I'm Maya, your queen of chaos, deep conversations, and accidentally saying things I probably shouldn't. But let's be honest, that's why you will love me. And joining me on this wild ride is my co-host, Zayn, the calm voice of reason, the guy who somehow keeps me from burning the place down, or at least he tries to.
Hey everyone. Yeah, I try to be the calm in the storm, but with Maya around, I'm mostly just here to react, comment, and occasionally question humanity. So buckle up.
Here on the Hot Mess Prodcast, we're talking about everything. Love, life, friendships, mental health, awkward moments, viral chaos, and all the messy human experiences that make life interesting or exhausting.
If your life sometimes feels like a reality show you didn't audition for, a mix of genius ideas, embarrassing mistakes, plot twists, and random 3 a.m. Google searches, you've found your people.
Yes! If you've ever laughed, cried, laughed until you cried, or questioned your life choices in the same hour, congratulations. You definitely belong here. Because life is messy, and we're here to embrace it, celebrate it, and maybe make fun of it a little.
Exactly. We're not perfect. We don't have all the answers, but we promise to keep it real, raw, and relatable, and have fun doing it.
And today's episode? Oh, it's a spicy one. We're diving headfirst into situationships, the almost relationship that somehow manages to ruin your week, make you question your sanity, and yet keep you checking your phone.
Confusing texts, mixed signals, emotional roller coasters, and heartbreak that makes no sense? Yes, we're talking about all of it, every messy detail.
So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, maybe hide under a blanket, and get ready to laugh, cry, and scream a little. Welcome to the Hot Mess Prodcast.
Okay, let's define it. A situationship is basically a relationship that refuses to call itself a relationship.
It's like diet love. Low commitment, zero clarity, 100% stress. You get all the flavors, but none of the substance.
You talk every day, act like a couple, maybe even meet each other's friends. But if you ask, what are we?
I'm not ready for labels. Boy, relax. Nobody asked you to marry me. I just want to know if I'm single or not.
Exactly. Situationships are like limited time offers. No guarantees, no warranty. You buy it, knowing it might break in 24 hours.
And it's wild because you keep making excuses for it. Like, oh, maybe he's just busy. Maybe she's just figuring things out. No, you're just being strung along.
Right. And the mixed signals? It's like emotional ping pong. 1 minute they're super sweet, sending cute texts, FaceTiming at night. The next, ghost mode. And suddenly, you're left staring at your phone, asking the universe, why me?
Yes. And don't even get me started on those weird half dates. You know when you're basically hanging out like a couple, but at the same time, it's not a real date? And they keep saying, we're just chilling. Girl, that was dinner, wine, and deep conversation. That's not just chilling.
And it gets even crazier. You see them posting pictures online with their friends, but they're not posting you. Suddenly, you're left scrolling Instagram like a detective, analyzing every story, every like, trying to figure out your place.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. Your brain keeps hope alive. You're like, maybe next week he'll finally call me his girlfriend. Maybe next week it'll change. But the truth is, it probably won't. And that's the trap.
And here's the emotional punch. You invest feelings, energy, and sometimes even your entire weekend into something that exists mostly in your imagination. Meanwhile, they're just living their best casual life.
So if you're new to situationships, here's the moral. It looks like love, acts like love, but has no commitment. It's fun until it's not. And trust me, the heartbreak? Way worse than a normal breakup.
Exactly. And honestly, the worst part? You can't even complain about it to your friends without sounding dramatic. Like, well, it's not really a relationship. Yeah, thanks for that clarity.
Situationships, the emotional version of a roller coaster you didn't buy a ticket for, but somehow ended up strapped in anyway.
Exactly. And Han perfect summary. And coming up next, we're going to talk about why people fall into these situations even when they know better. And trust me, it's more relatable than you think.
Let's be honest, nobody plans to fall into a situationship. It's not like you wake up one morning and think, you know what would be fun today? Emotional chaos and confusion. No. What happens is, you meet someone who's charming, funny, or maybe just really good at texting, and suddenly, they're in your head all the time. They give you enough attention to keep you hooked. The sweet messages, the late-night calls, the compliments that make you feel special. And yet, somehow, they don't give you enough commitment to feel safe or sure. It's like being stuck on a roller coaster that only goes halfway, looping over and over without ever letting you off. You start making excuses. Oh, maybe they're busy. Maybe they're figuring themselves out. Or, my personal favorite, maybe next week things will change. But the truth is, next week often never comes. And still, you stay. You stay because your brain loves the hope, the fantasy, and that little spark of possibility that maybe, just maybe, this could turn into something real. And that's why people keep falling into these situations, even when every piece of logic in their body says, stop, walk away, run.
And that's the thing. Situationships are basically emotional breadcrumbs. They give you tiny bits of affection, tiny moments of validation, just enough to keep you coming back for more. You're never fully fed. You're never fully secure, but you're never fully gone either. And here's the real kicker. While you're stuck analyzing every text, every pause in conversation, every late reply, you're hoping it will all magically turn into something more. You're holding on to the dream of a real relationship, even though deep down you know it probably won't happen. And it's exhausting, isn't it? That constant back and forth between hope and doubt, between excitement and heartbreak. That's why people fall into these situations over and over again, because the emotional crumbs feel sweet enough to keep you on the hook, even when your heart is screaming for stability, clarity, and respect.
Okay, let me tell you about one of my personal experiences so you can see what I mean by these red flags. A few years ago, I met this guy. At first, everything seemed perfect. He was funny, charming, and always texting me. But here's the first red flag: he only ever texted after 11 p.m. I mean, who does that? So I thought, okay, maybe he's busy during the day. Fair. Then there were the disappearing acts. One day, I didn't hear from him for like 12 hours, and he comes back with, "Sorry, I slept." I mean, seriously? Nobody sleeps that long unless they're a newborn or avoiding a conversation they don't want to have. Then came the hanging out indoors thing. Every time we met, it was Netflix, my apartment, his apartment, no actual outings, no lunch dates, nothing that felt real. And of course, the classic line, "I'm not ready for a relationship." But he was acting exactly like my boyfriend, texting me all the time, holding my hand when we went out, even planning little surprises. Here's the kicker. He was ready, just not with me. And the worst part? I gave him my time, my energy, my emotions, all the intimacy you could imagine. But I got nothing in return. No clarity, no commitment, no security. And looking back, it was exhausting, confusing, and honestly, kind of heartbreaking. I kept hoping things would change, that maybe he'd finally admit what we were, but it never happened. And that's the situationship trap. You give everything and get a mess in return. It teaches you a lot, though, about boundaries, self-respect, and knowing when to walk away before you lose yourself completely.
Wow. And that's exactly why these red flags matter so much. Situationships sneak up on you. One minute it's cute late-night texts. The next, you're emotionally invested in someone who isn't fully invested in you. You overanalyze every emoji, every pause, every word. And even when your brain knows it's unhealthy, it tricks you into thinking it could change. That's why spotting these patterns early is so important. It can save you weeks, months, or even years of unnecessary stress. Because nothing hurts more than giving your heart to a situation that was never meant to be.
All right, let's talk about why situationships hurt more than regular breakups. Honestly, it's because there's no clarity. You don't know where you stand, and your heart keeps imagining possibilities that don't exist. It's like living in a movie where you're the lead, but the script keeps changing without warning. You invest your time, your emotions, even your weekends, all for someone who isn't fully committed. And the emotional swings? Oh, they're brutal. One day, they're sweet and attentive, making you feel like you're the most important person in their life. The next, they're distant or disappearing, leaving you overthinking every text, every pause, every emoji. And the worst part? You replay every moment, trying to find a clue that maybe, just maybe, they care as much as you do. Spoiler: most of the time, you're just seeing what you want to see. And if I'm being real, I've been there, feeling excited about someone, thinking things could change, only to realize that the person was never ready for a relationship with me. It's confusing, exhausting, and heartbreakingly unfair. Situationships hurt more because you grieve someone who was never fully yours in the first place.
Exactly. And it's not just emotional, it messes with your self-esteem. You start questioning your worth, wondering if you're too much or too little, or if the problem is you. And while you're stuck in this loop, the other person often remains unaffected, enjoying the fun parts without any of the responsibility. That imbalance is what makes it so painful. Plus, closure is impossible. In a normal breakup, at least you know it's over. You can cry, rant to friends, and start moving on. But in a situationship, you're left hanging in limbo, constantly hoping, constantly doubting, and constantly stuck in this emotional tug-of-war. And let's be honest, that's why people end up staying longer than they should, because your brain wants the taste of connection, even if it comes with chaos and heartbreak. The emotional damage lasts longer, and the recovery, well, it takes time, reflection, and a lot of self-love.
All right, listeners, now that we've survived the chaos, let's talk about how to actually get out of a situationship, because staying there is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Step 1. Acceptance. You have to admit to yourself that this isn't a real relationship. It's hard, especially when you've invested time, emotions, and even your weekends into someone who isn't fully invested in you. Step 2. Set boundaries. Decide what you will and won't tolerate. No more late-night-only texts. No more indoor-only hangouts. No more breadcrumbs. Step 3. Stop hoping for change. Trust me, hoping doesn't make it happen, it just prolongs the heartbreak. Step 4. Distance yourself. Yes, that means limiting contact, muting their messages, maybe even blocking if you need to. It's not about being dramatic, it's about protecting your heart and your sanity. And finally, step 5. Focus on yourself. Invest your time, energy, and love back into you. Reconnect with friends, hobbies, passions, anything that reminds you that your happiness doesn't depend on someone else's indecision. Because the truth is, you don't need someone who isn't ready to show up for you. You need someone who chooses you every single day.
Exactly. And I'll add this. Getting out of a situationship isn't just about removing them from your life. It's about reclaiming your emotional power. It's realizing that intimacy without commitment isn't worth the chaos it brings. It's okay to feel sad, frustrated, or even angry. Those emotions are valid. But don't let them control your decisions. Set your standards, enforce your boundaries, and don't settle for less than what you deserve. And remember, it's not about punishing the other person, it's about prioritizing yourself and your well-being. Because once you do that, you'll start attracting people who are actually ready to meet you where you are, not leave you hanging in limbo. And trust me, that's a game changer.
Wow, what a ride, everyone! If you've been listening this whole time, congratulations, you just survived a full deep dive into situationships with us. And honestly, Talking about this stuff always makes me feel a little better, like we've all been through the chaos together. And that somehow makes it a little less messy.
Thanks for listening to the Hot Mess Prodcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment about your own hot mess situations. Until next time, stay messy, stay human, and stay fabulous.
And for those of you who survived our stories and tips today, remember, life is messy, love is confusing, and humans are complicated. And that's why the Hot Mess Prodcast exists. To laugh, to vent, to relate, and sometimes to cry a little, all in one episode.
Next episode, we're diving into another spicy topic. Why people always come back when you finally move on. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. It's full of drama, lessons, and maybe a little revenge. All in a healthy way, of course.
Thanks for listening to the Hot Mess Prodcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment about your own hot mess situations. Until next time, stay messy, stay human, and stay fabulous.